Ukrainian forces struck the Saratov Oil Refinery, a drone storage facility at an airfield in Russian-occupied Crimea, and other military targets overnight on November 28th, Ukraine's general staff reported. Residents in several Russian cities and in occupied Crimea reported hearing explosions overnight. Russia's defense ministry claimed its air defenses shot down 136 Ukrainian drones, including 30 over Saratov Oblast and 29 over the occupied peninsula. Ukraine struck the Saratov Oil Refinery, a facility that produces more than 20 petroleum products and supplies the Russian army. The strike sparked a fire at the site, though the full extent of the damage is still being assessed, according to the report. Ukrainian forces have repeatedly targeted the refinery in Saratov Oblast this fall, with the previous strike recorded on November 4th. The latest November 28th attack is the fifth since the start of the season. One of the November strikes forced the plant to halt primary processing, according to Reuters. During the attack, Ukrainian forces also targeted a drone storage facility at the Saky airfield in the village of Novofedorivka, Crimea. In other news, Peskov. The U.S. has handed over to Russia the parameters of the plan agreed with Kyiv in Geneva. They will be discussed next week. Peskov continued. Zelensky has a problem with legitimacy and an unwillingness to hold elections in Ukraine and comply with the constitution. More absolute nonsense again from the Kremlin. Up next in news, Ukraine needs powerful armed forces and security guarantees after a peace agreement, said Merz. He stressed that both European and Ukrainian security interests are at stake, so guarantees are being discussed with the US and Ukraine. The most important guarantee, he said, will be a well-equipped Ukrainian army. Merz also said that Ukraine should not be forced to make territorial concessions, and that the front line should be the starting point for any negotiations. In Russia, Orban will meet Putin in Moscow on Friday to discuss Hungary's crude and gas supplies and potential peace efforts in Ukraine. Remember, Orban is a Russian asset, no question. Next, in this video, Ukrainian air defense operators destroyed a Russian Molnia UAV as part of the Krafteriz initiative. The skill of Ukrainian FPV pilots is quite amazing to see. Now to the front line. Thousands of Colombians are defending the Zaporizhia region. There's been a real influx of these fighters in this area, according to Union, citing the OVA. Their living quarters have been set up in dugouts. There is a small kitchen where food is prepared, beds, a generator, and a place to dry clothes. It is reported that these Colombians have been at the zero line for several weeks. The Ukrainian people will be so grateful for their help. Now to Europe. Frustrated EU countries are ramping up pressure on Belgium to release $140 billion of frozen Russian reserves held in Brussels by accusing Bart de Wever's government of failing to fully disclose what it does with the tax income from those immobilized assets. 5 diplomats from different European countries, however, complained that Belgium appears to have a secondary agenda in holding on to Russia's money thanks to the tax generated. Belarus could secretly create a cheap cruise missile for Russia, as reported by Defense Express. At the Dubai Air Show in the UAE, the company E-System Solutions presented a new strike system based on the cheap LCCM Mk2 cruise missile. The manufacturer of the missile, E-System Solutions, is confirmed as a Belarusian Emirati company. And finally, here they are. The war criminal and Toad meet in Russia for talks. What a bunch of wasters. Thanks for listening to Ukraine, the Dark and Light. Please like, subscribe, and share.